I'm going to have to craft this video very carefully so it doesn't get misinterpreted. We'll talk about the smart money and not so smart money. Who's buying at the moment? Who's selling? Who's smarter, the buyers or the sellers? Both can't be right. Granted, some people have to sell because they've got different plans. Most people sell or buy because they think or have formed an opinion that the market's going to go one way or the other, and that goes for all asset classes. Not as much for property, seeing that you can live in the property, not just invest. Where the shares, for example, you can pretty much just invest in them, and it's purely a transactional win or lose, buy or sell proposition.
Ultra low rates light the fuse on house prices. Melbourne leads the charge towards a new record high.
Just bought my first home, so pretty overwhelmed and very happy.
See, that man's happy. What can you say? I mean, again, it's nothing personal against anyone here or any group of people, but we'll kind of analyze it, what I think is smart money at the moment, where it's going and who's buying and why. And I can't possibly do that without referring you to one of my very recent videos 2 weeks ago, which seems to be becoming part of the series of I Told You So series, Economy Times. I told you so, Hong Kong money is here, or is it? We've seen that the banks are not doing really well, yet now they're telling us the property is recovering. So why are banks not doing so well? Is the money coming from somewhere else, not being borrowed locally, but brought over from somewhere else, from abroad, and plowed into the ever so giving and resilient Australian housing?
House prices are fast heading back towards their record highs of 2 years ago, after their biggest monthly gain since 2015. Melbourne is leading the way, jumping 2.3%, with Sydney not far behind, as the Reserve Bank's 3 interest rate cuts have buyers flocking back to the market. And while homeowners are winners, it's more bad news for first home buyers. Andrew Robertson reports.
I thought the whole idea of cutting interest rates is to make it easier for poor first home buyers to get into the market. Very quickly, it's being apparent that that's not what the government is trying to do. They're just trying to sell as many properties as possible to whoever they can. They really don't care whether home buyers can afford it or not, as long as they can shove people into those boxes, especially the also upcoming and rising high-rise apartments in Sydney, I know, definitely, and I'm sure in Melbourne as well.
Going, sold. Thank you very much for your attention.
Just bought my first home, so pretty overwhelmed and very happy.
I want you to try and spot the pattern, well, the pattern out of one story, so that it's not really a pattern. But what can you see here? Just keep watching.
Thanks, Joey.
Mark Taylor has just forked out $500,000 for that first home in Melbourne's St Kilda, a lot more than he would have paid a few short months ago, with the rebound in house prices accelerating.
1.5% growth in monthly house prices is just crazy.
The latest figures show Melbourne has just had its biggest monthly property price rise in 10 years. Sydney is also surging, Hobart is roaring back to life, while Perth drags the chain as the end of the mining boom continues to take its toll.
So you don't say that we only report on this channel when the prices drop or negative news. It's great news. I don't know who for, but our government, banks, taxmen, lawyers, the whole industry around it is good for you and me, maybe. Maybe the ones who already have property, including me. But what am I going to do now that it's gone up in Sydney, 1.7%? I'm going to sell it and then go out there in the market and buy another one. Oh, fine. Oh, gee, no, it's gone up, same as mine, with the added bonus of having to pay the stamp duty again to get into another property. And if I've sold mine that I'm not living in, then I had paid already the capital gains. So you pay capital gains on the existing one, you get into the new one and pay the new stamp duty for that new one, and somehow I am supposed to be benefiting as the current property owner from the monthly rise in Sydney of 1.7%, 2.3% in Melbourne, Hobart 0.9%, Perth is down, but no, this is positive news. Let's keep it that way. Canberra still going up. The government employees still have the money. Brisbane also 0.8, not too bad for 1 month.
As prices march up again, Melbourne and Sydney have added 5% in the last 3 months. That's $50,000 on a $1 million house.
I do want to point something that Sydney and Melbourne have gone down all up, I think, from their peaks in mid 2017. I keep repeating this, but we need to keep this in the context. I think they've gone down double digits, 14, 15%. Don't quote me exactly on the number, meaning that recovering in 3 months about 5% is nowhere near coming back to where they were. And until they've come back to where they were and exceeded that for a few months or at least few quarters, we can't say that the property's turned around. If they do, then it's a worry for people like you, like me, predicting it to drop, meaning that they may actually just shoot up. Who's going to be buying it? Everyone's asking that question. I work with a whole bunch of professionals at my work, and we all are on okay money, and none of us could actually afford anything decent in current market. So you think, if we can't do it and we're okay, we're above average paid workers, who can? So this is, all right, Hong Kong, the Chinese, I don't know, the money laundering, the dirty money. I don't know, put the comments down there. Let's brainstorm and see who's actually getting into this insanity. It's not bad news for government. Let's not beat around the bush. It is bad for, well, residents of Australia earning Australian wages, paying Australian taxes, unlike money that comes from who knows where different taxes were paid or not paid, money launderers. It's for you and me, most viewers of this channel, it's not good news. For the government, very good news, trust me.
I think that the divide between the younger generation and the older generation in Australia is going to become a real issue, or more of an issue, over the next few years. I think it will probably be taken to the election.
If things continue as they are, house prices will pass their record highs of 2017 by about the middle of next year. However, with household debt also at a record high, regulators will almost certainly intervene before then to stop people taking huge mortgages they can't afford.
No, they're not. They've never intervened. They pretended to intervene, but they've never intervened. Why did Reserve Bank of Australia cut the interest rates 3 times just recently, and the lending criteria restrictions have been watered down to stimulate or stifle the property market? To definitely stimulate, and that's exactly what it did. Again, I'm not sure if the local measures did that, or is it geopolitical? Hong Kong, China, money laundering. Again, I'm repeating myself.
Andrew Robertson there.
And this is the bit that can potentially land me in hot water. In any case, read it whichever way you want. We're talking about smart money and not so smart money.
And sold. Thank you very much for your attention.
Just bought my first home, so pretty overwhelmed and very, very happy.
Thanks, Zoe.
Mark Taylor has just forked.
All right. From this story, we know that this man, Mark Taylor, bought the property. We know that this man was involved in selling the property. I think he might be the agent. I don't think he's the vendor, the owner. But so who's buying, who's facilitating the sale, who's selling? Make up your own mind, but I'll bring you what is there. We all form our own opinions and go with our gut feeling and or research, and then buy, sell, or sit on the sidelines, do nothing, which sometimes is a good thing to do. Okay, stay safe, and let's talk again soon.